A JavaScript callback is a function passed as an argument to another function. So after it has been passed, it is then executed or called back at a later point in time to complete a specific task. This text will change after 3 seconds. This is an example of how to demonstrate asynchronous operations in JavaScript. Let's go ahead and build this together. So what then is a callback function? A callback function is the function passed as an argument into another function. 2. It's a function that is intended to be executed later. Later is typically when a specific event occurs or an asynchronous operation completes. Also, we have types of callback. Number 1 is asynchronous callbacks. And number 2 is synchronous callbacks. I will explain both in the code. So the goal of this lesson is to understand how JavaScript runs code without waiting, the non-blocking nature of JavaScript. And earlier I talked about the types of callbacks that we have in JavaScript, which are asynchronous and then synchronous JavaScript, which I promised to explain in the code. Now, before we dive into the code, let me just quickly talk about both of the callbacks that we have in JavaScript. Now, the asynchronous callbacks are executed at a later time, something that you come back to later, which will then allow main program to continue running without waiting. And the benefit is that it prevents things like application freezing during long-term running tasks, like maybe a network request or something. Now, synchronous callbacks, on the other hand, are executed immediately within the outer function, blocking further operation until completion. So the synchronous operation can be likened to a one-way road that can only execute immediately within the outer function, and then it will now block other things. If a vehicle is traveling on just a single road, then every other vehicle will have to line up at the back until it passes or creates more space for others to be able to bypass it. So there are methods in JavaScript like that use synchronous callback, so they execute immediately without waiting till a later time. So moving on from this now, let's now look at an example of how you can use a set timeout method to demonstrate how asynchronous operations works in JavaScript. So Windows use functions like set timeout callback to execute code after a specific delay. And let me just go ahead and let's run through a simple example of how that can happen in JavaScript. So let's start writing code now. Now here is my boilerplate code, and you can see I don't have anything that is displaying on the screen other than this topic, which I have as an H2 in my HTML. So inside my code output, which is this box, I want to start putting code inside that we demonstrate to us how a synchronous operation looks like with JavaScript. And like I said, we are going to be using the set timeout method, which means that we are going to be using a time alongside a function in order to control execution of a task. So let me go ahead and make the first the big tag that I want to put some text to talk about what we are about to build together. So what we are about to build together is to wait 3 seconds, which is equivalent to 3000 milliseconds for this page to change. So this is the text that we want to change into something else after 3 seconds. That is equivalent of 3 milliseconds. And where I want that update to happen is just another H2 with an ID of maybe let me call this then 1 or anything, and then I can then go ahead and put the update that we are adding inside JavaScript to happen inside this H2. So let's go inside the script tag, and then see how this can be done. So the first thing that we are going to be needing to do is that we need a way to call the set timeout method. And the set timeout method is going to take two parameters. Number one is my function, the name of the function we are going to make, and the time when the function should fire, which is 3000 milliseconds, which is equivalent to 3 seconds. Then once I have it, then I can make the function itself. Just the normal way we make functions in JavaScript. And inside that function, then I can select the elements where I want changes, which is demo1, as you can see, which is this place, and use inner.html property to change it into something like I love you. Now, if you take a look at this, you see what will happen after 3 seconds. You can see the text is displaying I love you. So if I refresh after 3 seconds again, then it will change. So you can see that the changing of the text into this I love you that is popping up is happening underneath. We are not seeing it physically, or we are not seeing it counting or reading on the page. So the page waits 3 seconds after the page load, and then it then display a message. So the set timeout method is what helps to create the auto delay for these 3 seconds to be completed before this function is being called on. So we are basically saying run my function after 3000 milliseconds, 3 seconds. So nothing will happen immediately if I refresh, because JavaScript needs to count 3 seconds before it will now execute after the delay. And this part, the inner.html, is what will help us update the content and display the message. So the process is simple. When the page load, which is this, then the timer starts. When 3 seconds pass, then the function run, and then this message will then appear. So there's no click needed, because it will run immediately after page load without delay, and then change content on the page. So the set timeout function runs, the set timeout method runs once after delay. And with set timeout method, we can delay actions in JavaScript. As you can see that in this example, the page waits for 3 seconds, then display a message automatically. Now, before we end this part, what happens if I change 3000 to 0? So let's see this. Now you can see that there is no longer any delay. The message is displayed directly. But if I change it back to 3000, so you see that it will wait for 3 seconds before it appears. It will not appear immediately, unlike when we change it to 0 seconds. So this is how asynchronous operations happens in JavaScript. So it's a task that runs underground and then display when the time set has been completed. Key takeaways. Number one, set timeout delays code execution. Number two, it is useful for things like notifications, delay messages, and intro effect, as it runs only once.